I am live on this new link. Sorry, guys. Let me get you the link. Hopefully, let me find it here so that we can get you guys there. How can I share this? Find it here so that we can get you guys there. Okay. Hopefully everybody is making it over. I'm sorry for the confusion. There was Facebook has been down most of the day. Apparently, Streamlabs OBS is owned by Facebook, so Streamlabs would not open. So I'm trying to delete the old link and get everybody to this new link, which I can't find my way back to the old link. So hopefully, let me find out. Here it is. Let me post this. Okay, hopefully everybody finds their way over. Okay. Is anybody in here with me? Sorry in advance. I'm going to have to delete this. Oh, I feel so bad. It's been up all day. Delete. Okay, hopefully everybody can find me over here. I just need to get it all switched over. Unfortunately, Streamlabs OBS, which is what I normally use to stream, would not open today. Well, it was opening earlier this afternoon, but apparently they are owned by Facebook. So all of the confusion and drama going on with Facebook right now is affecting that. So I'm going to go post this new link in the Facebook group and hopefully people can find their way here. Sorry for the confusion, everybody. Gotta love technology. Sorry, guys. Technical errors. This sucks because we had 6 waiting and I have a feeling everybody's lost. If you guys can share this link to anybody that you know might have been coming this way. Unfortunately, like I said, Streamlabs is owned by Facebook, apparently. And so just like everything else in life that went down today, Streamlabs is apparently one of the things, which may be why I kept getting booted for talking bad about Facebook earlier, because I didn't realize they owned them. So let's see if we can get some more people. So tonight I'm actually going to start out, I wanted to touch on Benny Rapoza, or Big Boy Benny's case, a little bit prior to talking about Isabella, and only because I want to show an important link between the two, and like just the differences in the case for what the parents' reaction was after their child went missing. Now, Benny is nonverbal autistic. Let me see if I can figure out how to screen share. Let's see what we do here. Okay. So Benny is nonverbal autistic, and he went missing on his birthday, December 20th of 2019. He's been missing since then. These are some pictures of him. Now, right away, within days, the family, jumped straight into raising reward money, nonstop searches. They put flyers absolutely everywhere they could. Let me pull up the chat. Sorry, I can't actually see at the same time with StreamYard. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So StreamYard is new to me, and like Streamlab is a lot easier for me because it's easier to manage the different screens with only one monitor, which is currently what I'm working with. And StreamYard is kind of like you have to do a little bit of both. So let me see, because this is apparently not sharing my screen. Hold on. Okay, this one. Share. Hey, there it is. Okay. So this is Benny. Let me pull up the slideshow. And like I was saying, whenever Benny went missing, his family jumped straight into raising a reward for him and searching nonstop. The whole community came out. They were everywhere looking for him. His mom went right away to posting on social media about what he could have possibly been wearing and putting out information about him. She did use somebody else to post videos and to talk. She did do interviews, but primarily the information was going through another local who was representing the family essentially. Mostly because as a mom, you're frantic, you're looking for your child, so questions were getting filtered through this other lady. But she described him as a climber. He doesn't hide much. He can't swim very well. He loves fresh fruit, especially red grapes, bananas. He likes SpongeBob, likes to sing the Queen song. He loves gummies. She calls him Big Boy because he was a twin and he was the bigger of the two babies. He's a mama's boy. And then this is the diaper that he was last seen wearing. He had no pants, no shirt, no shoes. So, as I was saying, they went straight into searching and organizing, and each day they were updating the areas with maps of where they searched. And then, even still, they are passing out flyers and spreading awareness about the fact that he is still missing. They go out periodically, and just on random weekends, they all go out and they just share the word about him. So we see this family who is, dedicated to finding their son, dedicated to finding their sibling, their niece, their nephew. And then whenever we think about that in comparison to Isabella's family, not her biological family, who I know is searching for her, but you look at her adoptive family, what have they done so far? Like, so far, the only thing that we have heard from the adoptive family is they are still not cooperating. They are still not coming forward to be interviewed. This is what we keep hearing from police. So again, you just look at the difference between the two cases. And what does that lead you to think? Why are they not searching? Why are they not looking for her? Why are they not cooperating? So, typically if somebody lawyers up immediately, it always raises red flags. I know some people say that, as that they would probably lawyer up in that situation and, to protect themselves. But what do you need protected from if you weren't involved? Okay, let me see if I can figure out. I have another. So I just want to play Benny's mom's interview real quick. I think it's this one.
Rapoza has been missing since December 20th, 2019. He was 6 years old at the time. According to investigators, Benny was last seen leaving a home on Kalaniano Ole Avenue with no shoes and wearing just a diaper. Police say that they've searched the area and checked surveillance videos with no luck. Investigators have also spoken to family members, friends, anyone who is familiar with Benny. To this date, there have been no new leads. Anyone with information on Benny's disappearance is asked to call Big Island Police.
Buying something online, but the vendor says that the product is out of stock. Try changing the shipping address to our California warehouse zip code. The product
Of course,
is now
there's
available.
an advertisement,
From
right?
there, we ship your items to Hawaii. Ship to Hawaii. You shop.
How dare
we
you
ship.
advertise on my
Easy.
video? Okay. Wait, no. Let me see. Let's just shut that down. Oh, I hate StreamYard. Sorry, guys. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to look at is the area that Benny went missing in. So the story that I have read online is that Benny's mom was at work whenever he went missing. It was his birthday. He had gone swimming with his older sister earlier in the day, and they were at the boyfriend's house, the mom's boyfriend's house, whenever he went whenever he disappeared. Now, what happened was everybody basically assumed that the other person was watching Benny. Nobody had real contact or their eyes on him. And whenever he went missing, I guess they were unloading groceries from the car and kind of turned around and realized that he was not there. Now, they had divers out for several days. Whenever he went missing, the tides were high. And they say that the tides were higher than normal because it was the winter season. So they were very concerned that being autistic, that he may have went for the water. They did, however, search a lot of the woods. They were hoping and praying that perhaps he disappeared into the woods. For several days, the family went out, and they would go out every day and play the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song and the Queen's song, just trying to lure him to where they were. Being autistic with people looking for him, that could be a scary situation. So they tried to keep it as friendly as they possibly could to make him want to come towards them, basically. This search went on for 4 days before police called off the search. And the family, though, however, kept continuing to search. They still are searching for him. They're still asking where he could be. They are still asking for help, and they still have the reward money. Now, whenever you look at all of this, and then you look at Isabella's case, it's just heartbreaking to know that, the same concern is not being showed for her by her adoptive family. The biological family, like I said, is doing what they can, but they can only do so much because they don't have the legal rights to ask for the information from police, because they're not technically her family anymore by law because of the custody change. So another thing that I wanted to show you guys about Isabella is, I know everybody's been talking about the backpack of toys, and part of that is my fault because I also was referring to it as a backpack because that's how it was initially reported. However, this is actually the bag of toys that they found for her disappearance. Whoops. So it was, oh, come on. It's a garbage bag, as you see, with a couple of sand toys and then some like dirty old slippers. This literally could have been left on the beach by anybody. Like, how do they know or think that this connects to Isabella? It's right near a beach and literally could have been left by anybody. So I'm curious if they like found DNA on the shoes or, footprints or like, I don't even know. DNA on the bucket, maybe. But I feel like this is just like a hopeful, like, oh, look, we might have found something that could belong to her. But if we look at where Isabella, where this was found at, let me just show you. It is screen. Sorry. Let's go back to where the toys were found on Google Earth. Sorry if this makes you guys dizzy. Okay. So this is where the bag of toys was found. That is a garbage bag. It's not a backpack. But if you look at where it is, like it's right next to the beach. It's right in this area with this campground right there. And it seems like it would be a high traveled area. So I'm curious if anybody knows what exactly, tied her to these items. Like, was it just the adoptive parent's story saying like, oh yeah, that bucket's hers. She plays with it all the time. Are they really a reliable source of information? Yeah, the slippers are adult size. Like they don't even look like they're a child's slippers. And like I said, like this is a very high traffic area. I mean, this is the beach in Hawaii. How many tourists come through this area? Like I'm not from there, but I'm curious if there is a lot of people that come to these beaches from other places for locals. Okay, military and general public. So yeah, so I don't even know if I believe that this belongs to her at this point. I mean, I had heard backpacks so many times that I assumed that it was a backpack of like her favorite toys or something, not just a bag of random sand toys that looks like they don't belong to anybody. Like that looks like stuff that you pick up at the dollar store and it doesn't matter if you leave it behind or not. A pair of $5 slippers and whatever. You know what I mean? Oops. Let's look at that again. Let me just pull that up. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the toys? Yeah, a bag of local stuff. And that's it. I just feel like between the photo album being found at the dump that is related to the uncle of her adopted uncle who worked at that dump, his name is Ryan. I feel like that is more likely to be where we need to look. And then this was found several days later as if to lead people off of the photo album. All of a sudden this bag of toys was said to be Isabella's, just to make people think like, oh, they found something that belongs to her. She must have been at the beach, not the dump. So I don't know. I found it very odd. So another question that I had asked to some of the locals that are right in the same area as the Kaluas, I asked a couple different individuals what happened the morning of the 13th. As we know, Isabella went missing or went to bed around 9 p.m. And they say that she went out around 1 a.m. out through the door, but that their cameras for their outside was off and their alarm was not, like, it didn't sound. It was just silenced. So, I asked a couple of the locals if they seen any commotion in the morning whenever the Kaluas are saying that they woke up to discover her missing. Because as a parent, if you wake up at 6:30 in the morning and your child is gone, what would your gut reaction be to do? In my opinion, I would probably, be outside yelling for her, looking for her, knocking on neighbors' doors to ask if they seen her, calling the police right away, like freaking out. I could only imagine how freaked out I would be if my child was just gone all of a sudden. So from what I'm understanding, um, none of the neighbors really noticed a disturbance. The Kaluas, to their knowledge, did not yell and scream. They did not search for her. And nobody noticed anything was going on until the police were called sometime around um around 7:30. Now, I can't say the exact time for sure. It's just the time that the person had left and they still weren't at the property. There was still no police at the property at 7:30. So what time was the call? Does anybody know what time the call went into police? Because I'm curious if they even attempted to look like they were searching for her. So, uh, okay. Yeah, definitely look into that because I was trying to find like the local Broadcastify station. A lot of the mainland have Broadcastify where you can listen to police phone calls or the police scanners for what time stuff happens, but that island does not have a Broadcastify station that is up and running. There's one there that doesn't seem to have anything um going on, but it's never active basically. Alert to locate. I don't want to reveal which neighbors it was. They are on the same street as the Kaluas, and then there is one near their house, but not exactly on the same street. So, but for their protection, there is a lot of people extremely worried about speaking out in public against what's going on right now. And it makes you wonder, why? Why are people so afraid of the Kaluas? And like I don't want to accuse them. If somebody knows that they were out yelling and searching, by all means let me know. But like I said, it's just odd to me that these things just keep coming up where, you know, the alarm just happened to be silenced. The camera just happened to not be working. Nobody noticed you yelling and screaming. Nobody noticed you searching. And then we're claiming that a random bag of garbage on the beach could be Isabella's. It's just a lot of things that are kind of like red flags. So some of the other things that I wanted to let you guys know is that there is going to be a rally, a peaceful march at the CPS location in Honolulu. That's going to be on Wednesday from 11 until 1 p.m. It says, bring your signs, your voice, and your support. So they're asking for people to join them in this peaceful march just to speak out against, the injustices that are happening to the children. It's not okay that this child was removed from a home because of situations that, a lot of families go through, and was put into a home with people who are in the same situations or worse. She should have never been adopted by somebody with abuse in their history. She should have never been adopted by somebody with assault. She should have never been adopted by people with drug history. Like, this should have never happened. And so they want to march at the CPS area. According to People magazine, they were immediately called at 6 a.m., but that is not official. Okay, yeah, People magazine is kind of like getting your information from the Daily Mail. So I'm just interested to find out, exactly what time, which I doubt I'll be able to actually find that out because of the fact I'm not her family. They'll probably keep that tight-lipped, because if they didn't search for her, then that's just one more red flag. You're right. Somebody had to silence the alarm. So we have alarm systems at our home, and in order to have the alarm go off because of a door open, you have to type your code in to silence it, even if it's from your phone. And then they still call, like, depending on which type of alarm you have, they still call to verify that nothing is wrong. And if you don't answer the phone after something is wrong, they send police. So how did these people get this alarm to go off without police responding, but they didn't wake up to hear it? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And in order for the camera to not be activated, they would have had to shut the camera off. So we have a situation where they shut the alarm off, they shut the cameras off. She wandered out of their fenced-in yard to a mile and a half away to a beach with a garbage bag full of sand toys. Nobody's seen her. No camera's seen her along the way. And nobody has seen her since at least September 4th. So what's the real thing that's going on here? It's just starting to be, like I said, it's starting to be a lot of inconsistencies and things that just aren't adding up. Another thing is the fact that the other children were taken immediately into CPS custody. There are several cases that I have followed that is not typical to happen. And even if you look at Big Boy Benny's case, his siblings did not go into CPS custody because he was missing. That never happened. Summer Wells, her brothers, did not go into CPS custody until after their dad had another issue almost a month and a half later. Then they got taken, but they weren't taken because of her disappearance. And then Gannon Stauch, whenever he was murdered by his stepmom, his sibling was not taken out of her home. And they knew that he was murdered 2 days in, but she still stayed in her home because the stepmom was no longer there. So it's just, you can't say that 100% certain that the children would have been taken just because she's missing. That's just not how it works. They have to have proof of abuse, neglect, or a reason to believe that the children are in imminent danger. Now, in Hawaii, you could say it might be different. However, like I said, Benny was not removed. Like, his siblings were not removed. Do I know if the other children were returned? As far as I know, they are not back in the home yet. And honestly, until police rule that no foul play occurred, they probably won't be returned. The Kaluas are going to have to go through um, multiple court systems and through like the process to be able to fight to get these children back in their custody. But at the same time that they are fighting, I know that her family, her biological family, is fighting for the opposite. I wonder if they tried to question them. So chances are they will question them. However, in situations like this, what typically happens is they have to use like kid gloves with these children, because if they were in an abusive situation, they're not going to be willing to just speak out. So what they typically do is they pair them up with a social worker, and they do multiple visits asking like a couple questions at a time depending on their age. Now, if the child is a little bit older, of course they can ask more questions at once. However, if they're little, they're not going to ambush them like an interrogation. So like with the Summer Wells case, for example, her brothers were questioned over like a 3-month period, I believe. Because like I said, they have to do it very slowly and gently with these children just in case they may have been in an abusive situation. And I have heard all kinds of allegations about things that have gone on in that home. None of which I have proof of, but I'm sure that a lot of you locals have also heard similar things. So like I said, I just wanted to come on and kind of look at the comparison. You have Benny, who has a very loving family, like they truly care about him, and they're truly upset and searching and worried and concerned, and they're just nonstop. They want to find him. Dead or alive, it's hard to have a child that you assume could be dead and not be able to put them to rest. I could never imagine not having closure, because was he picked up by a trafficker or kidnapped, or did he happen to like fall into the water and it was just high tide and he could be anywhere? It's so hard to say. And then we're in the same situation with Isabella. Somebody out there has answers for her. Where is she? Where is Isabella? I just would really like to know, like, why are they not cooperating? What reason could they possibly have to not cooperate? Does anyone know if any searches have been planned again for any time coming up soon? I know that people were kind of asked to back off because police said that they were investigating and that they needed like people to just kind of slow down with it because they were looking at foul play and kind of worried about, what people could stumble upon, it sounded like. But I didn't know if any of the locals have searches planned, since it seems like the police do not. So the other thing was, the last person to say that they seen Isabella was a family that was either friends with the Kaluas or just happened to be over there, and it was around Labor Day weekend. And I'm just curious if she could have went missing the week prior, or if it really it did happen that evening. Yes, exactly. Why are these friends why are these people afraid to speak up? That's the same question I have, alert to locate. Like, everybody I talk to is afraid. And whenever I posted the flyer for the protest at the Kalua's house, I had gotten a phone call from somebody who was very concerned that there would be retaliation on the family and that it may be bad if we start embarrassing the Kaluas for people because of their connections. And so that was alarming to me. Like, it was kind of like hey, we just don't want to see anybody get hurt. Like, well, who's going to hurt them? Like, are you telling me that these people are bad people without telling me that they're bad people? I've heard the name Michael Mintz get brought up several times uh while talking about this case. And yeah, the serial murderer. Right, what is the family hiding? I just the what they are hiding is really concerning because it sounds like it can be very deep. We have Luha's father is a drug addict with charges. We have Sonny that has assault charges in his past. We have claims of abuse. We have claims of what the pictures were in that photo album, which I don't even want to put out there, but I'm sure some of you locals know. And it wasn't of Isabella, it was of the older sister. Isabella was in a few, but the older sibling was in them. And so it's like, what was going on in this house? What is going on in this house? What are they hiding? And what do the locals know that they are so afraid of this family? That even a protest that might make them look bad is like oh, well, don't get killed because you went to go protest. The media did like a 14-second video of the protest outside of the Kaluas, and then there was an article in the paper about the peaceful protest. Now, I'm also very curious if they're going to air Wednesday's protest. So I don't know what the Old Boy Network is, but I'm going to assume that you mean like how they, you know, police help other people or like the criminals help each other basically. And everybody's involved in the crime, so everybody helps everybody cover it up. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I hope the protest will be covered too. Basically. Yeah. So whenever the protest at the Kaluas was going on and people started getting tickets for disorderly conduct because of being too loud, basically, then I find out that that happened because one of the police officers is related to the Kaluas who issued the citations. So that looks bad. Because now you got cops covering for you. Are the cops covering for you and that's why they're not searching? Did CPS remove the other children just to cover CPS's butt because they know they screwed this one up? Because that's what I'm thinking. I think that they're just trying to avoid a lawsuit. And they're just trying to avoid, oh, look, yet another child went missing in CPS custody. Yet another child may have been murdered or sent into trafficking from CPS custody. 55 children a day go missing from CPS custody. 20,000 a year just in the United States, all from CPS custody. Why? I agree. The more coverage, the better. And I know that some of it is because they need to protect their case and what they're looking into. I get not releasing details, but how hard would it be to show her face? Why is that a problem? Why can't they come on and say, hey guys, this is Isabella. She disappeared. We need help. If you know anything, contact our phone number. Why is that difficult? Immediately at 6 a.m. Okay. And if they did call, then great. That would explain, I guess, I don't know. But why did the neighbors not notice any police cars out? And like, did they take a long time to respond? Is Hawaii's police like slow? Because I know that whenever Gannon Stalk was reported missing, it took police like 6 hours, I believe, to get to his house because they had so many other calls. But if that's the case, yeah, if that's the case, exactly. Why did they call without searching? And why weren't they out searching whenever police arrived? Maybe not all of them, but there was at least 3 adults living in that home. There was Ryan, Luha, and Sunny. So why weren't like one of them could have stayed home in case she came home with their cell phone, and then the other two should have been out searching. You know, why was nobody looking for her? And at first I was concerned because there are sex offenders in their area. So, automatically you think, oh my goodness, look at all the sex offenders. But then you look at their yard and they have fencing around their house and they're set back away from the road, and the sex offenders are 2 streets over from where their location is. So like a sex offender is not going to just be able to look out his window and see their house basically. Yeah, right, exactly, knocking on every door, waking people up, exactly. I would be freaking out, like, screaming. My son went to the backyard this afternoon with the dog without telling me, and he was only out there for probably, like, 5 minutes, and he's almost 11, and I was, like, outside, like, screaming for him, like, "Where are you?" Because, like, don't do that. You can't just go outside, you can't just go somewhere without saying something. Like, people take children every day, and now they're saying that she used to sleep in the yard? Like, really? But you shut your alarm off at 1 a.m.? So you're so used to her sleeping in the yard that you just shut the alarm off whenever she does it? Like, what's the point of having an alarm if you're just gonna wake up and shut it off? Have a good night. I hope you have a good day at work. Bye. Is anybody searching for her now? So Isabella didn't have a cell phone, and I'm sure that they took all of the electronics from the adoptive parents. I mean, if they didn't, I would be shocked. Typically that is just automatic in any missing child case. They take all of your devices right away. Like, they don't even give you an option. It's just they show up to search. They look at your most recent calls, etc., and then they take your devices by the time they leave the house. They also typically put an officer with you right away. You sit there and you are with the police officer. You have to stay at the location once the police are there and the police start searching. However, I don't even know if that happened because the Kaluas lawyered up very fast. As far as searches going on, Michael, nobody is actively, like, the biological family are doing rallies and protests and searches when they can. The police have kind of asked them to back off a little bit as far as searching goes, because they, like, don't want anybody to stumble upon her, I'm assuming. Now, the adoptive family have never searched. They have never lifted a finger. They haven't done anything to look for this baby. Not a thing. It is telling you something. And this just goes back to kind of the cases that I was showing the other day. You have the difference between kids that are in CPS custody whenever they go missing, or in adoptive custody, or whatever, and then kids who are not. You are, I think it was 45% more likely to die if you're in foster care or adoption than you are if you're just a regular kid. Why is that? Like, what kind of homes are we putting these children in that they have a 45% more chance of dying? That shouldn't be. Like, we've got to stop the cycle. We have to. We have to take a stand for Ariel, and we have to stop this cycle from happening to the next child, and the next child, and the next child. And in the meantime, this family needs to know where she is, and they need closure. If she is in trafficking somewhere, we need to keep showing her face and putting her face out there so that she can be found. And if she's not and something more nefarious happened, then we need to find her and bring her home so that they can have closure. And that's where we're at with this. We just need you guys to keep sharing and talking about it and sharing. And do not let the police let this sweep under the rug. Serenity Danyard. Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's sad. It's sad. Like, we have to do more for our children. We have to. And we have to do more for Isabella. Go to this protest with them. March at the CPS building with them if you are a local. Go there. It's going to be October 6th from 11 to 1. Let me look up the exact address for you guys real quick. I have it. It is 420 Wakamalo Road, 300B. Let me type it because I cannot say most of these words. I hate it because I don't want to, like, offend anybody by mispronouncing something, but I am from the mainland for sure. Like, my son just laughed at me. I can't even pronounce, like, most normal last names. Like, I'm a terrible reader because I have dyslexia really bad. So then putting all of these Hawaiian names into everything, I feel so bad because I'm just like, oh no, I'm gonna butcher that. And this is in Honolulu. So I hope that everybody, continues to share her name. And I know that there is somebody locally who posted in the Where is Ariella group, Where is Isabella group, sorry, asking for help hanging up flyers because there are areas that completely have no flyers. And we need help to get her name spread. And if you guys are able to help hang out flyers, like I said, that information is in the Where is Isabella group so that we can get flyers everywhere they need to be. And even if you are not in Hawaii, consider sharing her information because so many people travel there for vacation that they may have been in and out of that area around that time and been able to tell you, like, oh, well, I seen this while I was driving through on my vacation, you know? So just keep sharing no matter what, even if you're not local to them, because somebody could have seen something as they were driving through the area. And I just posted the address in the chat for the march at the CPS rally, so that if anybody needs the exact address, that's where it is. So that's all I really have though, guys. I just wanted to show you the comparison between the two cases. Like I said, you know, you see this family who is desperately searching for Benny, and then you see this adoptive family who hasn't even left their house as far as I know. Whenever the protests were going on, they had all of their lights shut off and they were watching their camera, kept turning on and off so that they could watch their camera. As the protests were going on, like people could see the light turning on and off on it so that they could see it. And then the TV was turning on and off at the same time in the house. So they assumed that they were watching everybody online. How many flyers do we need done? So I know that they are getting the flyers. Let me look it up. Somebody, if anybody in the chat is here from the people hanging the flyers, this would be a great question for you guys to help out answering. Let me see if I can find the post real quick. Okay, so somebody in the, let me see. I'm just going to copy and paste this because once again, I don't want to butcher this name and offend anybody. This area has no flyers yet. I just put it in the chat. So if you guys can just like cover the island, like everywhere on the island with flyers. I don't know if local businesses are helping print them or not. That would definitely be something to reach out and ask in the group if there's not someone in the chat here that is able to give us that information. But there are areas on the island that are still not covered. So we need to make sure that this information is getting out there because somebody might not even know. I mean, the news did what? 4 or 5 stories on her over a couple day period, and then she's just gone from the news. Why? Why is the news not covering this every day, every day, every day? I've been watching the Hawaii news and I see the volcano, which is great. It's big news. People need to know about the volcano. I see Brian Laundrie, like he's nowhere near you guys. But you don't cover the local? You don't cover Isabella? That makes no sense to me. Like, why are you concerned about Brian Laundrie hiking up the Appalachian Trail and Dog the Bounty Hunter swimming in the sewer water looking for him and everywhere else and crocodiles and whatever, but nobody's looking for Isabella? For 3 weeks we were watching helicopters of Brian Laundrie, but nobody posts about Isabella? Why? Yeah, the cameras do work. Alert to locate. They do work. But you know, whenever you purposely turn them off so that you can say that the alarm went off, oh, and the camera glitched at the same time. Weird. I'm guessing what, all the neighbors' cameras glitched as well because nobody seen her walking away. The 7-Eleven down the road did not see her. The business across the street did not see her. So how did she get away without any of these cameras seeing her? I'm guessing what, a massive glitch, right? Come on, people. We're smarter than that. Who are they trying to kid? You know, and if something happened, if there was an accident or, something happened that led to her disappearance. Maybe she fell, maybe something terrible, I don't know. And they're covering it up, then they need to come forward and tell that before it's too late. We can fly out and help you guys if you need help. Michael, that's definitely something to reach out for the family. I can honestly say I am not local. I am just somebody who heard this case because one of our missionaries is in Hawaii and shared this information on our local radio station for our church. So I heard this information and felt the desire to kind of help get her name out, because whenever I searched for her on Facebook, there was one group and it had less than 40 people whenever I joined. So it kind of broke my heart that, she was going virtually unnoticed at that point. She had already been missing for almost a week whenever I discovered her. And nobody was looking. I mean, the biological family is looking. I say nobody is looking, I mean like the world. The biological family, their heart is broke. They may have let her go into custody, but they thought whenever they were doing that she was going to go to a better place because of the circumstances that they were in at the time was not able to take care of her. We should be able to trust the system. Whenever somebody does the right thing and lets their children go into custody, you should be able to trust that they're going to go to a better place and that they're not going to go to somewhere that has drugs and abuse and assault charges. Like, that's not healthy, and this should have never happened. Never. So I don't fault the biological family. My heart breaks for them because I know that they did this. They never thought that this was going to be the outcome. They prayed that they would have a better start at life, and now here we are searching for her. This should have never happened this way. So whenever I say that no one is looking, I am not referring to the biological family. I mean the adoptive family, and I mean the local news, the local police. They looked for 10 days and then they stopped. All coverage stopped 10 days after her disappearance. So I don't know, guys. Just keep sharing her story. Keep sharing her pictures. Um, there are videos that I have towards the beginning that give like a brief overview of her case and her disappearance that you can share if you don't want to have to explain it to somebody. There are a couple in the beginning that are just that. It's not the speculation. It's mostly just the news about what's going on. So, Michael, if you join the Where is Isabella group, there are several of her aunts in that group that we can get you hooked up with. If you want to PM me, I can give you their information even. I know that I had mentioned to them about contacting groups such as Adventures with a Purpose to see if they could even come out and help, because there's a lot of water where they are. It's an island, so there's a lot of streams and rivers and lakes and just ocean around them. So that's something that I had mentioned to them. I'm not sure if they reached out or not, but yeah, the Where is Isabella group is a great place to start if you're looking to get in contact with them. So that's about all I have, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and close it up with a prayer like I have been doing, because like I said, we just have to keep her in prayer as much as possible. If she's going to come home safely and she's going to come home alive, it's going to be by God's grace and with his hand to guide her. So we just need to keep her in prayer every step of the way and keep her family in prayer to make sure that she is, safe and that they are staying sane. I couldn't imagine going through the turmoil of losing a loved one. Like literally losing. We have no idea where she is. So I'm going to go ahead and close in prayer again. Dear Heavenly Father, please continue to be with this family. Dear Lord, touch their hearts and comfort them to give them peace until we can find Isabella, until we can find Ariel, Lord. Please keep her safe, dear Lord, if she's alive, if she's still with us. Touch her, Lord, and give her comfort. Make sure she's not scared. I pray that, she can come home, Lord. I pray that the other siblings that were with her, Lord, are in a safe place and that you can touch their lives as well, dear Lord, through this situation. Help them to grow to know you and to find comfort in you, Lord. Be with the searchers and the police, dear Lord. Guide their hands to help find her and to find a resolution to this case. Bring her home, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys, so that's all I have. We'll catch you probably in a couple days. Hopefully we get more new information and before that time. Have a good night, guys.